What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mainomai FM here, and welcome to the channel for the first time if you haven't come across my content before. If you are a returning visitor, then welcome back to the channel, guys. Really appreciate the support. Thank you for coming back and checking out my content. If you are familiar with the channel, you will notice that I have already put out some content on potential FM Wonderkids for Football Manager 2021, but that was before we actually had the FM21 beta available to us, which I hope you're all enjoying just as much as I am. Let me know in the comments what you think about the beta, about the new match engine, etc. What do you think? Is the game an improvement on FM20? I think the jury's still out on that one, but we'll be fair to SI and we will give them until the full game is released to make our judgment. However, now that we do have access to the beta and therefore to player profiles and attributes, we're going to switch it up and I'm going to deliver the content in a very different way now. We're going to sort of pose some players in a quick fire way, really, to just throw them at you. You guys can judge for yourselves, head on to your save and do some scouting of your own. So yeah, we're gonna try and cater for everyone. There's going to be Wonderkids at different levels for all types of saves, based on your own budgets and whatnot. Some expensive players, some cheaper sort of unrecognised ones as well, so really trying to cater for everyone's saves, really. It has to be said though that we are going to miss out some of the more obvious Wonderkids that we all already know very well, really. The Camavingas, the Marco Canas, the list goes on, but those guys aren't going to be included in these videos just because I think they've already been well covered in the community. Now, it is worth saying, please don't pay too much attention to the star ratings that you're about to see for these players, because that's always very much down to the club you're managing and the staff that you have. It's very subjective, so personally I like to judge purely on attributes and the player profile that's in front of me. Obviously, for the purpose of this video, we are Liverpool, so they do have very good staff, obviously a very high calibre of player at the club, so when you're comparing players to the players they already have, obviously the 16, 17, 18-year-old potential Wonderkids we're looking at are going to be a lower star rating. Without further ado then, guys, I think I've already said too much in the intro. Try and keep it short and sweet for you guys, but let's just get straight into it. So then, first up we have Nicolo Rovella. He is an 18-year-old Italian youth international currently playing his football in Genoa over in Serie A. As you can see here though, guys, he is wanted by a lot of clubs, a lot of Premier League teams and some Italian giants in there too. So you're going to face some stiff competition for his signature. So you're going to want to get this deal done early if you are looking to bring him in. In terms of his strengths, there aren't any standout attributes other than his determination, actually, guys. But he is very, very well rounded. And I think that determination that he has, plus his resolute personality, that leads me to believe that he's going to improve a lot in the future as an all-round player. I think some of his technical attributes could be slightly better in terms of his passing, vision, tackling, etc. as a well-rounded midfield player. However, I have no doubt they will improve. According to the game, when you first discover the player, his best roles in terms of suitability are in central midfield as a box-to-box midfielder, maybe a Mazzala. If you want to drop him deeper, there's a few roles here that he could be suitable for. The register role is something actually that I'd be interested in exploring with this player. Maybe he could turn out to be the next Andrea Pirlo, who knows. But off the bat, I would probably recommend playing Rovella as a deep line playmaker in central midfield, just because he ticks an awful lot of boxes and is very well rounded and versatile. Next up, we have Kamaldeen Sulemana, who is an 18-year-old Ghanaian youth international playing his football at the moment with Nordsjælland. Now, in terms of his strengths, guys, obviously you can see that he is a rapid player, got bags of flair, bags of technique, which is lovely to have in an inside forward, which I think is going to be this lad's best position when you look at some of his technical attributes such as his finishing. I do think his composure and decisions and a couple of his other mentals as well could do with some work. 10 determination and a balanced personality leads me to believe that he will develop somewhat in the future, but he might not turn into one of the very best players on the game. But anyone that knows me knows that I love an inside forward, and this guy ticks all the boxes for me for a young player. So he's certainly someone I'm looking to bring in on my very own beta save with Genk. I think he suits me down to the ground. So definitely one to keep an eye out for, guys. So the third player we're going to take a look at in today's video, guys, is 17-year-old Tomislav Devunjak. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not though, so please don't bash me too much in the comments for that. So he's currently playing his football at Dinamo, and he is a Croatian youth player. A bit like Ravella, who we looked at to begin with. He's quite a well-rounded player, with the exception being, I think Devunjak's mentals are actually really strong for a 17-year-old, but some of his technicals could really do with some work. For example, his passing and his tackling, which I think are key in any midfield role. Especially if you're going to look to play him a little bit deeper, like I would probably play him as a deep line playmaker in the DM role, if not as a halfback, simply because I just really like the halfback role. Anyone that's watched any of my content before knows that I'm obsessed with it. I think it's one of the best roles and one of the most underrated roles in the game if you can get the right player in there. I'm not sure that Devunjak is the perfect halfback, but I think with a lot of those mentals he would do quite well in there. Now, his 15 determination and his fairly determined personality lead me to believe that he will improve a fair bit in the future, which is obviously promising because, as we mentioned before, some of his technical attributes do need a little bit of work. However, he is still only 17, so be a little bit patient with him, give him the time and the right training and first team minutes to grow, and I think you'll have a real player on your hands with this guy. In at number 4 then, we have a 17-year-old Dutch youth international, fresh out of the esteemed academy at Ajax, and he goes by the name of Devon or Devine. I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation there, but his surname is Wrench, I know that for sure, and he looks like a really promising young defensive minded player. Now, his best position I think is yet to be decided upon. He's obviously, looking at the screen here, a very versatile player. However, I don't see him as a fullback, so that's probably one position I would rule out straight away. Now, personally, if I was approaching the development of this player, I would look to play him as a true ball-playing defender, maybe in a three at the back system, or as a holding midfield player. Now, he's relatively well-rounded. Some of those mentals up the top there are lacking a little bit, but 16 determination and a fairly determined personality, once again, guys, I think those two things together are pretty key in terms of development, and I think that this lad has plenty of room to grow. Speaking of growing, he's obviously only 5'10", which for a centre-back isn't great, and when you couple that with his 10 jumping and 9 heading, he might be a liability in the air if you do decide to play him in a central defender's role. So once again, I think we're probably looking at a holding midfield player here, guys. Fairly mobile player. 14 passing's not too shabby at all for a 17-year-old. 13 tackling, decent vision as well, 12 vision. But certainly someone I'd be looking to invest in early on in my save to see if I can develop him into a top-class talent. Now, we all love a Brazilian Wonderkid, and in at number 5 we have a young defensive midfielder by the name of Sandri. He is 17 years old, Brazilian youth international, plays his football currently at Santos, and as you can see here, guys, if you're after a well-rounded midfield player, this is your man. You're going to want to move early on for this young man. I'm pretty sure loads of European clubs are going to be in for him, sort of midway through towards the end maybe of the first season on FM21. Not a lot to say about this one other than the fact that he is so well rounded, naturally really fit, 15 natural fitness there, 14 flair for a midfield player, very nice, solid all round attributes. The only thing that will concern me slightly is his 8 determination, but you know, it's not always the sort of be all and end all really of a player's development determination. He's got a professional personality, so you'd like to think he'd apply himself in training, which is obviously promising if you're looking to develop him. But yeah guys, go and check this player out and let me know down in the comments if you do sign him how he gets on for you. In at number 6 then guys, we have 16-year-old Yad Lokorofo. Now he is a French youth international currently playing his football at Lyon. Personally, when I see a player coming through the ranks at Lyon, I'm immediately paying attention because of their track record of producing top young players. Now this lad's a little bit different to some of the other players that we've already mentioned, and to be honest he's probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but let's have a quick look at some of his strengths. Now straight off the bat, his 15 finishing, 15 first touch are sticking out. 15 off the ball attribute is very good for a young striker. 16 balance, very strong. But he's not the most mobile striker. So really, this is someone you might want to give a bit of a free role to as a deep line forward. Someone that's maybe going to drop a little bit deeper, link the play, find a teammate. You know, he's got 12 passing, which for a 16-year-old striker is not bad at all. 12 techniques go along with that. Now his vision could do with some work, but again, mentals do tend to improve with age and training on Football Manager. So someone that needs a little bit of work, but someone that I would definitely take a calculated risk on and bring in early on my save on FM21 and look to develop him as much as I can really. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this is someone that you'd look to bring in on your save. Not a lot of people play with a deep line forward, so I'm interested to see if he appeals to anyone. At number 7 then guys, we have 16-year-old Luca Reichel. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now he is a young Austrian currently playing his football at Red Bull Salzburg, and we all know about Salzburg's reputation for youth development and giving opportunities to young players. Now, as I mentioned, he is only 16, but look at some of these attributes guys. 14 finishing, 14 dribbling, 14 first touch, 14 heading as well for someone who's only 5'7". Obviously he isn't the tallest lad and doesn't jump particularly high either with that 8 jumping attribute, but you know, low crosses he might be able to dip his head down and nick a few as a bit of a poacher with his 14 off the ball attributes. 14 composure as well, 14 anticipation. He likes his 14s, doesn't he, this kid? Acceleration, agility and pace, all 14 as well. This is someone that I am very interested in guys, and I will 100% look to bring him in on at least one of my FM21 saves. So I really hope you guys do the same. But yeah, let me know in the comments. This guy looks like he could be an absolute star. So shout out to Espen over at Passion for FM for bringing this young man to my attention, because I am very, very grateful indeed. Next up, we have 16-year-old Savio, a young Brazilian currently playing for Mineiro over in Brazil. Now, I've already mentioned how much I love an inside forward, and this kid right here is everything pretty much that I look for in an inside forward, with the only thing being his finishing needs some work. Other than that, I think this guy is ready to go in terms of playing first team football at a lot of teams. Now, I mean, I'm trying to pick out some strengths, but I'm seeing a lot of very good attributes for a 16-year-old there. But some of the things that stick out to me are his 15 determination coupled with his spirited personality. He's got 15 flair, which is great to have in a player that is, you know, heavily one-footed. As you can see here, it says he's left-footed only, so he's always, if he's playing on that right-hand side, he's always going to be looking to come inside on that left foot, so he needs some flair and some technique to be able to shift himself onto that foot without getting, you know, sacked defensively, so to speak. Although looking at his familiarity in terms of positions, it looks like he can play anywhere across that front three. I'm not sure if I would like to rely on him to play through the middle at the moment with that 7 finishing attribute, but 14 technique might balance it out a little bit. He's not going to be the most deadly finisher, but I do think he will be able to create space for himself and other players. So yeah guys, I mean, let me know in the comments. We've got another another Brazilian wonder kid here for you. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try and move for this guy on FM21, or let me know if you've already used him. You know, I'd really like to know how you got on with him. So yeah, keep me posted, guys. Moving on now to number 9 then, guys. We have Burak Ince, or Ince, I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation. Turkish surnames do seem to give me a problem. Now he is a 16-year-old Turkish youth player, currently contracted to Altınordu, I think that's pronounced. Let me know in the comments if I'm getting these pronunciations all wrong, guys. I do apologise. I'm open to being corrected, let's just say that. Now, anyway, back focusing on this youngster. He is a bit of a throwback, really. I think the game's moved on a little bit in terms of being able to carry a conventional number 10 type player, you know, more of a techie player that maybe you carry as a passenger defensively. However, if that still is your thing, I know the 4-2-3-1 is quite popular on Football Manager, so if that's your thing, look no further than this kid right here, guys. Look at some of these attributes: 16 technique, 14 passing, 13 vision at just 16 years of age, 14 first touch, 14 free kicks, 16 decisions, which is incredible for a teenager to have. You know, he's going to pick the right pass 9 times out of 10, you'd like to think, with decision making like that. He's got a balanced personality. Determination is a little bit on the low side, but I would take a risk on this kid, guys, if it was me. Personally, I don't really play with a number 10 too much on Football Manager, but if I was to switch that up, I would certainly give that free roll to this young man, so keep an eye out for him. Now, for those of you who have stayed until the very end of the video, first of all, thank you very much, but secondly, you're in for an absolute treat. Next up, and the final player of today's video, we have 16-year-old Spanish youth player, Ilias Akomach. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Again, I'm not the best with names, so let me know in the comments if I should be pronouncing it in a different way. To those of you who have decided to embark on a rebuilding Barcelona save on the FM21 beta, or even on the full game, this is one for you. I'm sure you've spotted this young man languishing in your youth setup at Barca. He is a left-footed, heavily left-footed only, inside forward / inverted winger type player. 17 flair, 15 agility, pretty mobile with his 14 acceleration, 13 pace. 11 finishing for a 16-year-old winger isn't bad. He can dribble, he's got a decent first touch, very good technique. Now, I mean, we're all familiar with a certain someone from Barcelona who came through the youth setup there a long time ago now with similar attributes. I'm not going to make any comparisons, but I'll leave it out there for you guys to make your mind up. But he looks very tricky, very agile, and someone that could cause a defence a problem or two. Quite a versatile player as well, can move centrally, again, like a certain someone at Barcelona. Can play off the left or right, or even through the middle, as I imagine as like a false 9 type player. Yeah, there we go, false 9. Very technical player, but there's one for you guys if you are looking for a highly technical, sort of dribbly type player. This is one for you. There you have it then, guys. 10 quickfire wonder kids for your fresh FM21 save. Let me know down in the comments what you think of some of these guys. I've certainly got my own favourites, but let me know who's tempting you, who you're going to look to sign. Maybe you've already signed one of these players and they're doing absolute bits for you. Chuck us some screenshots down in the comments below if you can. Yeah, man, I'd really like to see how you're getting on if you are going to use them. Also, guys, let me know down there in the comments what you think of this format. You know, I've switched it up a little bit now that we've got access to attributes and player profiles. So do you prefer this kind of punchier way of delivering the content, or did you prefer what we did previously where I talked about the player in a bit more depth rather than bringing a high volume of players to you? I'm always looking to improve my content, so yeah, your feedback's really important to me. Finally though, guys, don't forget to drop me a big thumbs up, hit that like button if you did enjoy today's video. Even more importantly, guys, if you did enjoy the video and you enjoy the content that I'm bringing to you, hit that subscribe button for me. I really appreciate it. I've got big plans for the channel this year. with FM21 being released, and yeah, hopefully you guys can be a part of that. Finally though, thank you very, very much for taking the time out to watch the video. Appreciate it as always. Take care of yourselves, particularly considering the times we find ourselves in, guys. Take care of yourselves and check in on your friends as well. Cheers.